Okay, we are going to start again, Franz Kafka. As you can see that slide, uh, overview of this writer. He was born in Prague, the Kingdom of Bohemia, Austria-Hungarian Empire. Kafka was a German-speaking Bohemian novelist and a short story writer. Basically, we are talking about list of his work, themes as we already discussed. Because as we know that his list of work exploring theme of alienation, existential anxiety, guilt, and a strained and former relation with his father. There's a magical realism in his work, blend of realism and fantastic. His protagonists are in clash with socio-bureaucratic norms. I think you are listening to me. Please just speak to me, one of you.
Yes, sir, your voice is clear.
Yes, yes, okay. And again, you can see absurdity and element of chance as you go through his stories and novels. There is a, magical realism, absurdity of the story, and basically the first person narrative. He places himself and his thoughts and feelings, the concept of guilt in his stories. Uh, but the most important thing is that we are going to read his letters to his father. Now, his father is Hermann Kafka. Just we are going to start because I have read letters to his father, and I can share you the PDF file because after going through his letters, you will come to know the thoughts of Kafka. What are the expectations of Kafka and how he narrates certain things. Basically, letters to his father is nothing but complaints, regrets, because whatever he was expecting his father, and as it seems that his father could not come up to his expectations. So therefore, he was expecting that his father should be kind and there should be greater compassion out of him. But he was, on the other hand, ruler, Martinez, a person who wanted his son to follow the rules and regulations. Yes, he accepts the role of his father for his family, but uh, he grew as a timid and shy person, and he if inflicts the response. He imposes this thing is that because of his father, he is timid and shy because his father didn't give him confidence. Oh, he did not get along with his father in real sense. Complaints and accusations in the letters. Yes, there is a communication gap between the father and son because after going through his letters, we can come to know why this generation gap is over there. Generation gap is over there because new generation has got his own responsibilities, his own circumstances, and older generation has got traditional values and they want to impose certain traditional values on the newer one. So with the help of letters, we come to know because he, Kafka is a literary person, a man of literature, and how he evaluates the role of his father, his as his own role in the family, and how they were not getting along. Yes, the letters basically are the thoughts and again narration of Kafka. What are uh, these thoughts? and how he narrates these thoughts. In the first place, you can say that is nothing but complaints and regrets by Kafka. So you can say that he is not satisfied. He is never satisfied with the role of his father. So he complains a lot and then he regrets. These letters provide insight to writers' attitude towards law and order. Actually, the case is that Kafka considers that a father being the ruler of the family, or how does he pass on orders? And he expects that his law should be obeyed by the family members. So, being a son to his father expects a lot from him. But there are certain rules to be followed. And these rules basically are there, and Kafka has to follow these rules. But these rules are for Kafka only. Even his father is not willing to follow these rules. So therefore, he criticizes his father as ruler and judge of his family. So his father is not a good ruler. His father is not a good gentleman, and he is not good judge of his family. So Kafka grows as a timid child, and he has no confidence and he has no courage. But the thing is that whatever Kafka feels about his father, so he has got certain regrets and complaints about his personality. You can say that there is personality clash between Kafka and his father, but he has no courage to speak face to face his father because he wants to avoid confrontation. Here we can understand that Kafka's father never beats him, as we come to know from his letters. So there has not been physical punishment from father, but he grows pale and he is angry when Kafka does something wrong, and Kafka expects that his father uh, will grow uh, angry, and he will be furious when he will not follow the rules and regulations his father has laid down for him. These letters cover the themes of upbringing. Now, these letters basically span or spread upbringing of Kafka, business and writer's existence. You can say that at his home, his occupation, sexuality, and his marriage. So you can say that uh, Kafka observed the role of his father when he was a child, when he was a young man, and because Kafka was suffering from tuberculosis, so at 40 he died. So he evaluates the role of his father, and he is not satisfied with the role of the father. So he thought that his role might have been different. Or if he had behaved differently, he might have been a different person. So his father had uh, been behaving differently, so he would have been a different person. Kafka believes that his father subject others to rule that he himself never follows. This is, you can say that, hypocrisy. When you lay down the rules for others, and these rules are not for you, It means that you are not going to follow these rules. These rules can be better for you and you are not going to follow them, or these rules are for others. This is hypocrisy because you are not following the rules, but you lay down the rules for others. So indirectly, he is trying to say that his father is hypocrite. Yes, as you know that the letters, these letters are mere expectations, and then he narrates the expectations. When we read the letter, it seems that the writer criticizes the role of his father as authoritarian. So authority of father is there. As we know that we have a family and we have society, and then there is a patriarchal society. In patriarchal society, men rules the family, and family is subservient to men. And then on the other hand, there is a matriarchal society where women rules. But we have patriarchal society in the same way. Father is uh, uh, ruling the family, and father is basically looking after, supports the family. The same is the case with Kafka's family. So in his letters, he challenges the role of his father, so that he challenges his authority. So Kafka is very much satisfied with his mother, but he also criticizes the role of his mother. So the role of his mother is negative one too, because she plays tricks on Kafka, and then she is not straightforward. She does not favor Kafka when there comes the treatment and behavior of the father. He said he would have been a different person if his father's role had been defined. As you know that when we compare our family relations, when we look at our family relations, when we observe our family matters, we can say that the treatment, behavior, and attitude of our family members, for example, our mother, our father, our uncle, our brother, our sister. So we expect a lot from them. We expect positivity from them. We expect that they should be positive to our future. They should be positive to towards us. If they are negative, we can say that, and we think that they are responsible for our weaknesses. So you can say that he wanted to see a good friend in his father. So this is the reason of communication gap. This is the reason of misunderstanding and miscommunication between Kafka and his father, because his father is no more seen as a friend. So there is Kafka does not expect uh, kindness or greater compassion from him, because he is no more friend, because he is authoritarian. Kafka evaluates himself as a shy, timid, and weak in strength. Yes, when family members, especially father or mother, does not support you, you grow as a shy and timid child. On the other hand, you should be confident. You must have strength, peace of mind. You must be sophisticated, balanced personality. But you can't be like that if your father and mother doesn't support you emotionally and psychologically, because it does not happen, because we expect our father and mother should support us financially. Yes, this is the main reason, but there must be emotional and psychological support. There must be advice, a good piece of advice and suggestions from them, as compared to they um, support us financially. He dreams to have enjoyed health, eloquence, loudness of voice, self-satisfaction, worldly superiority, stamina, peace of mind, presence of mind, understanding of human nature. Now, these basically, Kafka thinks that these things are missing in his personality, and this is because of the authoritarian role of his father. So his father was angry man. His father was mistreating him. So therefore, these values basically eloquence, satisfaction, stamina, strength, peace of mind, confidence, generosity, and all these positive qualities in him, because he is devoid of all these qualities due to the fact that his father was harsh to him, his father was bitter to him, and his father was not friendly. So what does he expect? He expect more cheerer, happier, refresher, and relaxed father as compared to the strict one. And this is as he thinks that the problem has been with his father because of his strictness. As you know that when you are not frank, when you are not straightforward, when you don't understand the problems of your children or kids, then what happens? You don't know in which way you are going to support them, whether you will advise them or give them the piece of suggestion, but you don't understand the situation. So it means that the parents should understand the mind of their kids, the minds of the young ones. So therefore, if they understand the minds, then they will be in a better position to guide them, to support them. So there must be emotional and psychological understanding besides financial support. So emotional and psychological understanding should be there, because as we know that children or kids or young ones, they face a lot of psychological problem. Sometimes they suffer from inner conflict, they suffer from outer conflict. Sometimes they fight with their friends. uh, Other time they are jealous. So there are various instincts, the feelings and the instincts. So they display these feelings. So jealousy factor is there, sometimes hatred factor is there. So all these things. The children should not be brought up in a good way if parents uh, are failed to understand their mind, their position. So these are the things he mentions. So what does he want from his father? The writer wants to have an encouragement from his father. So he thinks that encouragement is missing from the personality his father. So there is no encouragement, and then there is no appreciation as such. There is no appreciation as such. So there is no encouragement as such. Encouragement as such. So he evaluates the treatment of his father in all stages of life. It means when he was a child, when he was growing up, and when he stepped into young age. So these are the stages, these are the various stages, and he expects a lot from his father while being in these positions. So as a child, when he was a child, his father was failed to support him emotionally. His father was expecting him to follow the rules, and his father was angry. And when he was growing up, so the attitude of his father was bitter and harsh. So he couldn't tolerate the attitude of his father. So he is trying to give us the examples. When he was there with his mother, when he was there with his father or any family member. He was trying to give us the example, condition and situation. Basically, when we evaluate Kafka's situation, Kafka himself was suffering from tuberculosis. So there were other reasons that he became or grew up as a timid and shy child. So you can say that his father was not all responsible. His parents were not all responsible to just mold him as a character, as a personality. So there was other problems with him. So we can say that he tries to inflict, he tries to impose all these things on the shoulder of his father. And he does not say that he has been to some extent responsible for his own weaknesses. So he tries to say that he is weak by nature and he has no strength because of the role of his father. So if his father had been different, so Kafka might have grown as a different person. So he evaluates the treatment of his father in all his stages, as you can see that whenever he wants to manage his affairs with the girls, or whenever he wants to marry a girl, his father intervenes. So his father does not give him a good piece of advice. So he thinks that his father is not a gentleman, a good gentleman, and his father has not been playing his role actively or wisely for the family. So lack of understanding of Kafka's nature as a child and his predicament, now his suffering. Kafka thinks that he suffers a lot because of his father. Because his father, the role of his father is main. So his father is almost responsible for his weaknesses, for his for the negative things he develops. So you can say that his father does not understand him in all the stages of life. There were certain rules for him to comply, and his father became angry when he did not carry out the orders. This is the main problem mentioned in the letters. So his father has got certain rules, and the expectation is that Kafka will follow these rules. So Kafka fails to follow these rules because it is not possible for a person to follow uh, the rules that are ordained for the parents, or that are ordained for a boss, that are ordained for anyone. So we can say that when we evaluate this situation, so it is not possible for a person to follow the dictation of a person, matter the least he or she is close to you. So dictation basically gives torture to you, pains to you. So it is not possible to follow the dictation. Lack of understanding of Kafka's nature as a child and predicament. There were certain rules for him to comply, and his father became angry when he did not carry out, as he mentioned in all these. Again, Kafka's complaints. Kafka mentions his father as Martinez. Now, Martinez is a person who lays down rules for you. A Martinez is a person who has authority. Martinez is a person who is a boss. If you fail to comply or follow these rules, so Martinez is there to punish you. So punishment doesn't mean that there must be physical punishment. punishment means that your boss or the person who expect you to follow the rules, and he will become angry, and there will might be an indirect punishment from his side. So his father is a Martinez, a person who imposes his authority, imposes his rules and regulations. If he does not follow up, if he fails to follow these rules, oh, he will be punished. So what he points out, what does he highlights in his letters? Insults, threats, irony, spiteful laughter, and self-pity. When a father promotes these things, when father is responsible for all these things, so how kids, how a child will be confident, will have peace of mind, will have harmony in his or her life. There are certain insults, when threatening language is used for children, when irony is there, when you criticize your children, when spiteful laughter, when they do mistakes, when they commit any sort of mistake, and then there is a hateful laughter from your side, and then you are just uh, making them realize that they must take pity on themselves. So these are the points he highlight in his letters. Kafka's depiction of his father is a strange, odd, and having uncanny manner. So strange manner. So as we know that the relation between father and son should be intimate, should be close, should be friendly, and there must be bond of frankness. As we know that there is no affinity, there is no harmony, there is no friendness, there is no frankness, there is no friendliness, there is no frankness. So we can say that they are they poles apart, and the father is a strange, odd, and uncanny, strange manners Kafka is talking about. So we can say that whatever he says, whatever he mentions, he wants to see his father quite opposite. So his father is very strange by nature. His father is not good gentleman. His father is not sophisticated and cultured by nature, as he expects this thing from his father. So Kafka thinks about rebel. So he wants to become rebellious by nature. So as we know that breaking away from home by Kafka could have been considered. So his father could have considered this if he, because he was thinking about breaking away from home. He was thinking about going away from his, running away from home. So Kafka thinks that, he believes that his father could have considered ingratitude out of him, self-importance out of him, disobedience and betrayal from him. So as we know that he could imagine all these things. So his father considers him an ingratitude child, and the person who has self-importance, the person who has disobedience and betrayal in his personality. So because of all these things, he never tried to break away from home, but he thought about breaking away from home. The role of his father is threatening and entirely negative. So Kafka depicts his father's role as a threatening and entirely negative. So he does not consider it positive. Sometimes he accepts the role of his father. He thinks that his father has been supporting his family financially, supporting him and his family financially. So there is a role of his father, but he has got complaints, he has got regrets regarding the social understanding of father and children. So there is no, there is communication gap, and then there is no affinity, there is no relationship, there is no friendliness and frankness between father and children. So this is the complaint of Kafka. The role of his father is threatening, entirely negative. Kafka wants to see his father as a model of love. Now, this is another expectation. So whatever he depicts, and his expectation is that he wants to see his father as a model of love. So he wants to have affinity with his father. He wants to have relationship based on love and mutual respect. So love and mutual respect is missing between Kafka and his father, but he expects that uh, from his father. He considers his father as a perfect gentleman. His father is not perfect gentleman, but he expects him to be a perfect gentleman and thoroughly a sound leader, a person who does not uh, lose his reason, a person who is less angry, less furious, because his father used to be furious and angry by nature. So these are the complaints in his letters. Keeping in view the letters, expectations, narration of Kafka, because I think it is a 56-page document, you can see that Kafka mentions his expectations, but he does never consider his own weaknesses, because uh, the person has got his own weaknesses. Okay, when he has weaknesses, once he was a child, that's okay, because child cannot consider his situation. But once he becomes young man, he should consider his weaknesses. He should mention and highlight his weaknesses too. So father as a captain and wise ruler, he expects that, and he dreams his father is the captain and wise ruler, but his father is not wise ruler. Expectation of wisdom and sagacity from father. So he expects wisdom and sagacity from his father. He uh, does nothing regarding his own wisdom and sagacity, especially when he becomes a young man, when he grows as a young man. Harmonic relationship between father and kids, as we know that from that narration, we come to know that there must be harmony between relationship of father and kids. Role of father in bringing up kids, as we better understand the role of father in bringing up kids, reduce the